Hey, students. So I think we can all agree that fossil fuels and non-renewable energy are not a sustainable choice for our energy future. They are limited, finite, and of course, very polluting. So renewable energy resources, many argue, are going to be essential as we look to the future. They are perpetual or regenerate very quickly and generally far less polluting. We have five renewable energy resources: solar, wind, hydropower, geothermal, and biomass. Four out of five of them are all related to the sun. Only geothermal is not. It's independent of the sun as it represents the heat below our feet. Today we're going to begin with solar energy. Solar energy begins millions of miles away, of course, in the core or the nuclear furnace of our sun. Nuclear fusion yields an enormous amount of energy that travels across empty space and eventually reaches Earth's surface. We can actually access this energy directly. We can heat our homes with it. We can use it in what we call solar thermal systems, which act a lot like power plants. And we can also even convert it directly into electricity. Starting with heating our homes, we would describe this as passive solar heating. These are systems that absorb heat directly from the sun without the use of mechanical or electrical equipment. It's not new. We've heated our homes for thousands of years with the sun. The Anasazi Indians were really good at it. They oriented their dwellings so that the face of their homes was directed towards the noon sun, the sun being in the south at solar noon, and the sandstone cliffs that overhung their dwellings provided shade from that noon sun. But while the sun was lower in the sky during the winter months, it was able to warm these dwellings. Furthermore, they built their homes in these sandstone cliffs with adobe brick and mortar. Adobe has important thermal properties that keep these dwellings cool during the day, and they actually retain heat at night. So this is something we can all take advantage of. Living in the northern hemisphere, we always find the noon sun in the south. So by facing our homes towards the south and by having large facing windows that face the equator, we could take advantage of that low winter sun and then having perhaps an overhang to block out that sunlight during the summer to keep our homes cool. Strategically placing deciduous trees in front of the southern part of our homes is helpful as well, because in the summertime, the trees have leaves. These leaves cast shade on their home, keeping our homes cool. But of course, those trees drop their leaves during the wintertime and allow sunlight to warm the home. In addition to passive solar heating, we also have active solar heating, which are systems that use the sun and a pumping of a heat absorbing fluid through a special collector mounted on the roof or special racks to face the sun. A typical active collector has a flat black surface, a coil through which the heated absorbing medium, such as water, is pumped, and a cover consisting of 2 or 3 layers of glass. Heat storage can also be accomplished with the use of a large tank of water. We know that water has a high specific heat, so it resists heating, but whatever heat it does gather, it's going to hang on to, and it could slowly and surely heat the home, even when the sun's not out. Aside from heating our homes, we can also use the sun to generate electricity in the very same way that we generate electricity using a coal-fired power plant or a natural gas plant. We can boil water to produce steam, which then spins turbines to then create electricity with a generator. Solar thermal plants, commonly found in California with ample sunlight, used curved parabolic mirrors to concentrate solar energy and use it to produce electricity. The concentrated heat is focused on a fluid, oftentimes oil, that's in a tube, which ultimately gets heated to produce steam. Another type of solar thermal plant are what we call power towers. And these are centralized power towers or central receiving stations with an array of computer controlled tracking meters. We call them heliostats, and they sort of follow the path of the sun throughout the day and redirect it towards a centralized power tower. That, of course, then boils steam or boils water to produce steam, which creates kinetic energy and can then be used to create mechanical and electrical energy. The problem with power towers and these solar thermal systems is that the sun is only out for certain hours during the day, and so backup systems are often needed. More often than not, natural gas is used as a backup, and that can ultimately lower the net energy yield. The advantages of these is that there's no direct carbon dioxide emissions or other air pollutants. However, the low net energy yield and oftentimes the use of water in a water scarce environment like deserts can create environmental issues. Furthermore, the need for backup makes it unreliable, especially when the sun is not out. New techniques and batteries and storage systems are being tested, of course. And for example, there is a salt molten material that they use in a large insulated material or container. And that molten material releases heat at night when the sun is not out. In addition to solar thermal plants, we can actually convert sunlight directly into electricity using PV cells or photovoltaic cells. This is the fastest growing way of producing electricity in the world. Solar energy can be converted directly into electricity by using thin wafers of silicon. These purified silicon wafers are lined with trace metals that conduct electrically. And that conduction of electricity completes a current and a circuit, which can then be pumped out to the grid. By placing PV cells on top of a home, for example, it can support the home's electrical needs. Sometimes it actually goes above and beyond, and it creates excess electricity, which can be pumped right back into the grid. And so the homeowner not only is getting free electricity from the sun, but is also receiving money back from the electrical grid or the utilities as they are providing a surplus of energy. It's a scalable technology that can be used on roofs or in desert power plants. It has a moderate net energy yield. The cost is currently quite high, but with the right tax advantages, it's coming down. There's no carbon emissions. To be fair, some of the heavy metal contact points can be polluting in their production, but generally speaking, this is thought to be one very important source of energy for our future. That's it for today, guys. We'll see you soon.